Hello, it is the Yarn Closet. I was going to do a quick live podcast, a short one this week, but I'm no longer eligible because of all those YouTube changes. So instead, we'll record and upload like normal. I don't have a lot of time. I've got a doctor's appointment this morning. I am Yarn Closet AZ, that's for Arizona, on Instagram and Ravelry. You can reach me at TheYarnCloset@yahoo.com. There's a webpage, TheYarnCloset.com. And there's a Patreon for The Yarn Closet. And I have a new subscriber, and I forgot to write down the name. It's Tara. Forgot the last name. I'm so excited and so thrilled from the support I've gotten in the last week. I am now at like 112 subscribers. Did my eyes just go closer together? I mean, that is craziness. And the part I love is the ongoing community. I've been emailing back and forth with a woman we met over the web stuff, YouTube, and her daughter is visually challenged, and it's just nice to have these friendships developing. This is the world we live in. I feel like Sally Field some days. You know, you like me. I have friends. And it's not just the subscribers and the likes, but it's the people who communicate that really has me excited, and I appreciate it greatly. Because that's what I'm trying to create, is a community of people who share the yarn interest. And ways that we can encourage each other and try new things. So I am so excited to have that extra support. I did have a snafu that one of the packages, like the stitch markers, did not make it in. So just contact me if you're really excited about that, and we will send them out separately. I send Braille stitch markers in all of my monthly prizes, and hat tubes or sock tubes. A hat tube is going to be out of a merino. Superwash, usually not with any kind of nylon or stellene or anything like that, because it's softer and warmer. So this would be a hat tube. So it will stretch plenty, and you can do a double thick hat. You can fold in your brims. You can, I'm working on this, but you can, okay, if you put your needles in, okay, and you go like so many stitches in, you can drop a stitch down and then secure it so that you have a faux rib. But people have been asking more and more how to handle these, how to deal with them. I do not have the best setup right now to do a tutorial, but I'm going to make an effort to do something so that you have a better idea. What you need to do in most instances is have something for the socks at like 2.25 millimeters. The hats can go up to like 3, depending on the yarn itself and how stretchy it is. But what you have to do is you have to pick up the right leg, I believe it's the right leg you want to pick up, and weave your needle in all the way around. So you want to have a 32-inch or bigger for the socks or the hats, and then you can work a magic loop. If you can manage to work in a 16-inch to work on your hat tube, that's just fine, that'll work. It just might be hard to get it weaved in. And that's, so if you weave your needle in here, then you undo the yarn up to here and you start ribbing if you want to do a ribbed cuff, and then you bind off. If you weave in your needle on a hat tube and then you double it, you know, fold it some to have a folded brim, and you can bind off there. I'm going to do something that is better than what I just said today. But I just wanted to give you an idea. So this is a sock tube. This is a 72 stitch sock tube. So I would just work this in, and then work that in, and then I'd work magic loop to finish the toe. I would do the same for an afterthought heel. So you work in on one row for an afterthought heel, and then you skip a row and you work your needle in the next row. So you've got 3 rows. The needle on 2, and then a row of stitches. On the same side for your heel, you cut a stitch in the middle here and unwind, and now you have a hole. And then you just work the heel like you would work a toe. I find it to be the easiest for me. The hardest thing is to figure out where exactly you want to put that. My toes tend to be about 1 inch, so my heels, I tend to work a few extra rounds just of straight knit stitch before I start the decreases. And if I want an 8-inch long sock, I put my heel in at the 7-inch mark, because I'll get about 1 inch with stretch there. So that's the way that I do it, and I will go over that in more depth in the next couple of weeks. I just don't have a lot of time today. Because we hit over 100 subscribers, I'm sending out a package to No Catchy Name. She was the 100th subscriber. So I'm giving her a prize. And there will be another prize drawing in May. If we get a few more Patreons before then, there will be 2. No Catchy Name is getting a bag, and you did see that the other 2 that were offered up this month had bags, one of which has gone out, the other has not. So if I don't hear from that second party, then that prize is going to get worked in, and her name's just going to go back into the lot of people who haven't gotten prizes. And unless I state it when I pull names, it's from YouTube subscribers who've commented and who have not previously gotten a prize. So I am not doing great on my April socks. I need to finish some April socks. I'm not doing great. Not at all. Because it is Year of the Sweater. Dun, dun, dun. Very Pink Knits does a tutorial. I'm sorry about the light today. Does a tutorial of this Lion Brand pattern. It's a free pattern for a cropped sweater. I need to do the button bands in ribbing, but it doesn't call for buttons. So if I do a closure, I might do one closure like here. I don't know. Let me see if I can. Oh my God. I haven't tried this on since I bound this off. And I haven't done any blocking yet. The bind off edge is so much nicer. I think I did Jenny's stretchy bind off. Is so much nicer than my cast on edge because of the cast on that I used. So I'm going to try to improve my cast on skills. You can even see, I think, right here, unless that's a shadow. I'm almost done with the ribbing on this one. And then I have to seam it. Wow! It looks like a sweater! It looks like a sweater! I need a sweater! And it's pretty! And this light sucks. Hey, Connor, come turn this light switch off.
Okay. TheYarnCloset.
Guess who's getting his eyes checked today?
Oh,
much better. You are. You're getting your eyes checked tonight. It doesn't hurt.
Scary.
It'll be fine. It's not scary. You just, you read the letters off the chart. Fabulous. So, my mom has macular. She used to quilt. She can't quilt anymore. tried crochet. She couldn't do that. But in school years ago, she learned how to knit. They taught everybody. Because people forget that I'm pushing 50 and my mom's about 25 years older. So Kitty, my mom's name is Kitty. Kitty is starting to knit. And she's actually doing it, and shockingly enough, she's doing continental like I do. I'm so impressed. She's getting it, she's doing it, and she can feel it. And with one of our CCTVs, she can actually put the camera on her hands and set up the screen so she can see it. We're joking about the fact that she will probably knit a lot of squares or triangles and put them together like quilts, because she's a quilter at heart. And so I'm really excited about that. I think that's pretty fun. And the thing that makes me the most excited is if my mom really does take off with this, then I have someone to go with to knitting retreats. We'll have to wait longer because nobody will be around to watch the kids. But yeah, that would be fun. And maybe she'd be interested in going to Sunday open knit at our local yarn shop. We only really have one local to us in Tucson, which seems ridiculous. But it's the truth. So, oh my gosh, it's a sweater! So excited, I'm so excited. Everybody gets a kick out of my funny little things about blindness. So, Sadie is, for the most part, retired. I don't use her for daily work. So this is in my purse or my yarn bag. And it is my collapsible twine cane. People are confused because a lot of people have the ones with the big balls on the end, and I have those because that's what they teach people now. It's not that tap, tap, tap business. They teach them just to use the ball and roll it. You get more of a sense of what you're walking on that way than just the couple of taps. But they don't collapse as nicely to fit in a purse or even a pocket. I mean, I can shove this in my back pocket of my jeans. But what it does is it helps me not walk into a glass door or trip on a curb. It helps with stairs. And I predominantly use it in places I'm new, so I don't bump into things, and to alert people that I need help. Before I was diagnosed as legally blind, I had a short, just white cane that collapsed that I used, and I most of the time just held it kind of across my body but out in front of me, and I didn't move it very much. That's what they give people in the beginning to get used to holding it. But the theory is that the general public will realize that you need some help or whatever. But what I came to find is that people didn't recognize it. They didn't understand why I had this short white cane that didn't have the red on it, and why I wasn't moving it. Because for the most part I used it so I wouldn't walk into chairs or bump my knees on tables, because I have a lot of bruises and I bruise pretty easily and I'm always running into stuff. So you may see people with canes who then put them away and walk without them, and you're thinking, well, I don't understand. So if I use the cane to walk into the doctor's office and to get to the room, I may not necessarily use it to walk out if what I've realized is it's a completely open, easy place. If there are the little scales and things on the floor that I might trip over, I'm going to use it both ways. But if that's not the case and it's just hallways and open space, then I probably won't use it. You know, there are people who use wheelchairs sometimes, but not all the time, use walkers sometimes, but not all the time, use the hearing aids sometimes, but not all the time. It's the same thing, and I think we're going to start seeing more and more of this as the baby boomers get older. And I think that we need to not criticize people about, well, your eyesight can't be that bad because you're not using your cane today. You don't always use your cane, so your eyesight can't be that bad. Okay, let's knock that off. Let's just knock it off. Who cares? Are you going to say to the guy with, who's 6 years old and has severe asthma, well, I guess your asthma's not that bad because I didn't see you use your inhaler today? I mean, come on. People don't do these things to get attention. You can't even imagine how bad I have fallen down the stairs. And one time, I fell up the stairs, even worse. In my last house with stairs, I fell up the stairs so badly that a paramedic friend of mine actually came over after my neighbor saw him, because where my house was, across the alley was our paramedics and our fire department. And I had called her for something. And she came over and she was so aghast at how bad the knock on my head was, because I knocked my head on the railing. And she saw him walking back to her house. So he came over and he checked me out and pretty much said I had a concussion. That's why we do this sometimes and not other times. And the only reason I think we don't always do it is because of the criticisms and because of how stupid you feel and how vulnerable you feel when you're admitting to everybody in the world that you have a disability, which many people equate to a shortcoming. It shouldn't be equated that way, but that's the way that it is. And we feel that way. So a lot of times we try to hide it, and that's not the best choice for us. So try to be supportive. Okay? That's my thing today for looking with your heart first. And isn't this adorable? Crazy Chicks Corner has an Etsy shop, and I was lucky enough to get some of her handmade bunnies. Oh my God. So yeah, I can crochet, but when I do this, it's a rectangle or it has a slight dip on both sides. No, that kind of shaping, no, I can't do that. That's too tough. But how adorable. So check out her Etsy shop. She is a lovely lady and really fun to follow on Instagram. She's very encouraging. And I just like having more and more encouraging people in my life as I go through this life thing. And people say, oh my gosh, 50's coming up so soon. How do you feel about that? My parents got divorced when they were 50 and 60. My dad has had more fun in the last 20 years than you can imagine. Yes, their divorce was difficult. Yes, they were both sad, but they've lived their lives. It's an example to me that life goes on, even when those numbers get big, even when your hair goes white. And it's a lot of our mentality. We just can't stop engaging and making choices for what is important in our lives. So have a wonderful day. Hopefully this will post up easily and without issue, because I'm going to be leaving here shortly. Look with your heart first. Check out the website. It's growing. I believe I've got a couple of people contributing articles for the Yarns page, which is kind of like a blog page, but I'm going to have other people contribute anything they want to talk about, because we have interests beyond just our yarn. I am going to get a link in there, a page in there about the Arizona Soap Company, Growly Bear Soap Company, and make some links to their website since they are a sponsor. What else? That's it. That's all I know. Have a great day. Bye.